Let's look at questions 3 down to 7 or so. The sentence would have started off by saying, I'll show you here, in truth, the agency has a widespread positive effect on society by serving as a catalyst for innovation and scientific understanding. So I have serving as. Then I have to create jobs and then I have showing humanity its place within the universe. So what I want to make sure to do every time I revise a sentence or every time I edit a sentence is I want to make sure that I create parallel structures or equal structures within my sentence. That means that if I'm using the ing form of a verb, such as serving or showing, I want to make sure that my answer for this one is parallel to those two original structures, which I know the test is not going to ask me to change because they're not underlined. So let's look at the answer options. Option A, we will leave to create jobs. Option B, creating jobs. Option C, for creation. And option D, the creation of jobs. So based on what I've said about creating parallel structures within the sentence, whereas if they started off with serving, ing form of the verb, and then we end off with showing humanity, then that should lead you to guess that the answer would be, option B, creating jobs. So I'm going to go with option B for my answer for number 3. Let's go on. In 1958, the program's first year, very few people believed that it was even possible for a manned spacecraft to leave the atmosphere and orbit Earth. But by initiating and collaborating on projects such as the Apollo moon missions, the Space Shuttle program, the Hubble Space Telescope, and unmanned planetary exploration, NASA has continually, and I'm going to pause here because I have a question up at question 4. But what I just showed you is that every time you have a question, you don't want to simply stop abruptly. What you want to do is you want to make sure to read a little bit above and a little bit below the question so that you have a context of where the portion of the question is landing you. So in this question, I noticed that my question is telescope, comma, and. My answer options are telescope, semicolon, and telescope and semicolon, and telescope and comma. Now, by the time I train you to take this SAT, this question isn't going to take you even 2 seconds to answer because it's very simple. And it's based on the Oxford comma rule, or it's called the serial comma, which is really aimed at making sure that we have clarity within a sentence. That Oxford comma rule suggests that when we have a list of nouns, verbs, or adjectives, we must make sure to put a comma before the last conjunction in the sentence. So, based on what I just told you, you should already know what the answer to this question is. Check it out. It says, by initiating, collaborating projects, Apollo moon missions. So we have our first phrase here, Apollo moon missions. The second one says, the Space Shuttle program, the Hubble Space Telescope, and unmanned planetary explorations. We have a few noun phrases in the sentence. And we notice that we have a comma and. The other options, semicolon and semicolon, and comma, all create different types of errors within the sentence. And there are specific rules for how we use the semicolon and how we use the comma. But based on what I just told you about how we use the comma to separate noun phrases or nouns in a sentence, you should already know that the answer to number 4 is option A, no change. And that shouldn't take you even 2 seconds to do.